My name is Lori Brink, and I'm a teaching artist. And I work in visual art and consider myself a mixed media artist. I really enjoy working in a lot of different mediums.
My name is Marquetta Johnson, and I am a textile artist and quilter, and I'm a teaching artist by profession.
If I were thinking about going into a classroom, doing some work with them, I have a few things that I want to know first of all. So I want to know a little bit more about the students, what they might be working on. I want to know what they enjoy doing and maybe what they don't enjoy doing.
I think about the space that we're going to be in and how could I set things up for success, because oftentimes students, whether they're living with a disability or not, when they knock something over, make a mess, they feel as if maybe they made a mistake. And I think that sort of hinders that creativity. So what I try to do is think about it beforehand.
I also try to go around to each person very individually to begin with, to introduce myself, and I might reach out a hand to see if they're okay with touch in the first place. And if they respond to me, I've had them write their name. I pass around a piece of paper to each one of them and just watch them write their names, so then I can sort of evaluate their fine motor skills.
So we consider safety, we consider the flow, being able to have a wonderful workspace, because that's going to set the tone for a wonderful experience for the students.
So I think that's a big part that is often overlooked, just the importance of, what do you do when you're setting up, and what are you thinking about? And I will run a list through my head of the names of the students, and okay, so if this person is sitting there, can they do this? What might they have difficulty with? And so hopefully try to count for some of those before I even step foot in the classroom.
You can't get ready for students that need accommodations. You have to be ready for students that need accommodation, so that whoever comes in the door, you're ready to accommodate them and provide them with a wonderful setting.
Thinking about tools and adaptations, usually they have to do with the ability to either pick up and grip, or just to use, to roll, to move any sort of tool. So one of the things that came up this week in the bookmaking was, if we're going to use crayons and pencils, how can we adapt that so some of the kids can really grip that? So they're just too tiny. So for crayons, and I just came up with this. So it's a plastic golf ball, and I just used an X-Acto knife and made some cuts, made that on each end, and then I was able to slide the crayon through there pretty easily. I found these small little rubber bands to put on each end so that it won't move back and forth. So when I brought this into class today and showed the teachers there, it was like, whoa, yeah.
You could get a noodle and cut it into sections, and they have a little hole in it. And you could actually take a noodle and stick things up in there, so that if all they could hold, close their hand is that much, you could have that big noodle, and they're able to do whatever it is that they need to do with just a little piece of a noodle. Another thing that you could always do is to take masking tape and toilet tissue. You know how MacGyver always had chewing gum and some gym clips, okay? Well, I want to always have toilet tissue or towel and masking tape, because you could always take the tissue or paper towel and scrunch it up around the brush, and then take the tape and just spiral it down, and then you have your own adaptive paintbrush just like that. That could be used to make many, many different kinds of adaptive tools.
So for printmaking, for instance, the handles on the brayers are pretty big, so that if someone can grip a large grip, that would work pretty well. But for someone who cannot do that, if they can have an open hand, then I rigged up a Velcro strap that would go across the top of the hand and connect on the other side, and then just a little, actually a hair holder that would go over the wrist and hold the handle on there, so they could just keep a flat hand and roll that back and forth over the ink.
So I'm always thinking, how could I do this in the cleanest way? How could I do it in the safest way? And how can I do it in the most inclusive way? Because I want everyone to participate.
It's important to me to not single out a student in class and say, oh, let me get this special thing for you. I want to present it as an option, an interesting option for everyone in the classroom. So it's not designated for a specific person, but you can all use it, and I please do.
Teachers oftentimes don't have resources to be able to buy a lot of adaptive equipment. I think it's wonderful to empower them to be able to be the MacGyvers of their own classroom and create their own adaptive equipment based on the needs of the students right there.
I think about the daily life of these students. I just feel strongly that if there's anything that they can do on their own, that's a step forward and that's a positive thing.